Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to News Dose, and it's actually been a really fun day for gaming news. A potential Xbox reveal could happen as long as Microsoft is on board. You know, that's a key part of this, but I know there was a lot of hope for this one back in the day, from me as well for that matter. So this could actually be a really cool partnership if it goes through. And then also, a big Xbox Game Pass game was revealed today, but every single gamer on every platform should be paying attention to this one because it's an all-time great that will be available for everybody. You gotta love it. First, though, I do want to thank my supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. Thank you so much for what you do. You're absolutely awesome, and I truly, truly do appreciate you. Let's go and get right into things, though, and like I said, it's been a fun day for gaming, and a part of that is because Split Fiction reviews are currently rolling in. Now, I've said it before, and I'll just kind of say it again here. Hazelight is hands down one of the best studios that the game industry has to offer, and they're putting that on full display yet again. Split Fiction currently has a 91 overall score on Metacritic with 83 total reviews. Now, this is actually an even higher score than It Takes Two, which I think already tells you everything that you need to know. It Takes Two is quite literally one of the best cooperative games of all time. There's not much debate against that, and the fact that it only got an 88 is actually kind of criminal now that I'm seeing it. But nonetheless, Split Fiction is being described as an even better and even more creative game, which, again, tells you a lot because we know the quality and the imagination that game had. So that is a fantastic sign, and I can't wait to dive into Split Fiction later this week. This very well might end up being my game of the year when all's said and done. But here we are, and it's only a few days away. And do keep in mind that it comes with a free friend pass, and it's also completely cross-play, so you can play it with your friend on any platform. So, you know, Hazelight isn't just a top-tier studio, but they're also one of the most consumer-friendly studios as well. They absolutely deserve all the praise that they get. Now, we also got some very intriguing news from Bandai Namco that could have them entering into a number of different collaborations. This was reported on by PR Times, which is a Japanese website, but thanks to the very handy Google Translate, this is what it says. Bandai Namco will strengthen its licensing business with the aim of further strengthening ties with fans by expanding the appeal of IP created from games and other entertainment into various fields. As a part of this initiative, we have opened a licensing business website today that provides information about the licensing business to licensees, such as partner companies. In addition, we will establish a new licensing division from April 1st, 2025, and we'll begin to fully strengthen our licensing business. Now, I know some people get a little bit cautious when they see that April 1st date, but just like the report said, Bandai Namco did in fact launch a website where it showcases 27 different Bandai Namco IP, and I'll go and put that up on screen here. As you can see, this list includes Dark Souls, Tales of Arise, Elden Ring, Klonoa, Ridge Racer, Pac-Man, Tekken, and the list just kind of goes on and on and on. So theoretically, any one of these franchises could be outsourced in the future. Now, personally, I don't trust a single company but From Software to handle Dark Souls and Elden Ring, but I wouldn't mind seeing a new Klonoa or a new Pac-Man from an external company. So this could be a fruitful initiative for them and for gamers alike, depending on if they can get some good partners. Oh, and we also got an update for Stalker 2. This game by far had one of the most fluid development cycles in gaming history, and there for a while there was actually a real concern if this game would even make it to the market at all. So that's why this is such welcome news. They just announced that it eclipsed 6 million players. Now, obviously, Stalker 2 is a Game Pass game, so that's going to have a huge impact on its player count, but we also do have a fairly good idea that it has performed strongly on PC in terms of units sold. When it first launched, it immediately skyrocketed up the Steam charts and maxed out at 121,000 concurrent players. So if anything else, that's a good sign, and you know that they probably made a decent amount of money from the Game Pass deal on top of that. So hopefully this is good for the team. They seem fairly happy with this, and the fact that it's still missing from PlayStation and Nintendo, that's notable because there is potential that they could reach even more customers in the future if they can find a way to port it over. Okay, so let's go get into the big news here. And I first want to start off with really just kind of a trip down memory lane. You might remember about 8 years ago when Xbox was in kind of a tight spot. Here was a struggling Xbox One, and they really didn't have a lot of studios at the time. They had like 6 studios or something like that. But they were working on a collaboration with fan favorite Hideki Kamiya and Platinum Games. I mean, this is the creative mind behind Bayonetta, Okami, and Wonderful 101, to name a few. So there was a lot of hope for this brand new IP that he described as his most ambitious title ever. That was none other than the infamous Scalebound. Yeah, unfortunately, this game just never came to be. It was showcased several different times, and it was clearly rough around the edges. There were frame rate problems, and it just never seemed to have completely come together until Xbox made the tough decision to move on in 2017. Now, Hideki Kamiya has since apologized for its cancellation. This seems to be one of those things that burdens him over time. He explained that we were working in an environment we weren't used to. We were developing on the Unreal Engine. We also lacked the necessary know-how to build a game based on online features. The hurdles we had to overcome were very big. Now, I do kind of wonder if Microsoft pushed for those online features. At that point in time, Xbox was all in on games that had a multiplayer component, and when Scalebound was first revealed, it was actually showcased as a single-player game. So there was a little bit of a surprise when they revealed online features at a much later date. So I'd be a little curious to know if that was a Platinum decision or if it was just kind of Xbox pushing for it, but all things considered, this is by far one of the most debated cancellations, really, of all time. There were a lot of people very hopeful for this game, and despite some of its frame rate issues, it still looked like there was a lot of potential if given enough time to fix things up. Now, there's a whole controversy about Platinum Games and what they did and didn't do, but ultimately Scalebound just never came to be. But here we are, 7 years later, and Hideki Kamiya is once again asking Phil Spencer for yet another shot at Scalebound. His new studio, Clover, tweeted out, "Noticed some excitement around Kamiya's desk. He was reminiscing about the development of Scalebound while watching YouTube videos. It never made it to release, but even now, he still feels proud of it. Kamiya, I'd love to make it again someday." And then he actually responded, "Let's do it, Phil." Now, to be completely fair here, Kamiya has said something to this effect several different times, and in fact, he talks about a lot of different games that he would like to eventually revisit. Actually, he's currently revisiting the Okami series with a brand new sequel. So if anything, he stayed true to his word for that franchise. But in terms of Scalebound, it really just kind of comes down to whether or not Xbox wants to do it. They own the IP, and I feel like they've already had several different opportunities, and they've yet to take him up on it. I will say this much, though. Kamiya is with a different studio now, so maybe Xbox will consider it with his brand new studio. I mean, you never know, but let me know what you all think about this. Do you like the idea of a Scalebound revival, or should it be a cancellation left in the past? I think for me, I love Kamiya's work. I think he makes great games, and I like the idea of Scalebound. I think there's a lot of potential, so I'd still be all for this game. All right, now one more thing before we go, and this is actually really cool. All the rumors and speculation were absolutely true. Activision and Xbox just revealed Tony Hawk 3+4 remakes. And the reason that I mention Xbox specifically here is because, yes, it is a day one Xbox Game Pass release, as is all of their internally developed games, including Activision's. So this is a major Game Pass inclusion that you'll be able to play day one when it releases on July 11th. So there you go. Now, being a part of the Xbox family, this also means that they can utilize different Xbox-related IP, which includes Bethesda and the Doom series. As a bit of a bonus here, it'll come included with the Doom Slayer and the Doom Revenant as skaters, which personally I think is actually pretty cool. This could also indicate even more collaborations in the future if they want. I mean, we could see Crash Bandicoot, we could see the Master Chief, or any other number of Microsoft-owned characters. So that's actually a really cool bonus. But like I said at the top of the video, every single gamer needs to tune in for this announcement because it's completely multi-platform. It'll be available on PlayStation, the Nintendo Switch, and also for PC on day one, which also includes the addition of crossplay. That is very, very welcome. Now, I'm hoping it will have Switch 2 support later down the road, but I mean, these are all-time great games. I remember playing them back in the day for the Nintendo GameCube. These were really my entry points for the series, and I just remember having an absolute blast playing them. I wasn't really much of a skater per se, but I absolutely adored these games because they are legitimately some of the best sports games ever made, hands down. In fact, their Metacritic score speaks to that. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 has a 97 and Pro Skater 4 has a 94. So even if you don't necessarily care for skateboarding, I'd still recommend these games. Hey, if anything else here, that's exactly where Game Pass comes in. The service that convinces people to play games that they might not otherwise. And I'm telling you this much right now, don't skip over this collection of remakes. Now, if you don't have Game Pass, they are offering a demo for pre-orders. It'll be out in June, but either which way, you'll soon understand why these games are so beloved again on July 11th with that demo out this June. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode, but until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.